Okay, so nice meeting you. We're going to talk about some kind of a test case study that I've been working a lot on about how we moved from EKS Kubernetes SaaS environment to an on-prem air-gapped environment. I know that's something that many people are frustrated about, and I'm trying to make it a bit easier. So a bit like small thing about myself. I'm Rotem, I'm the VP R&D of ARMO. I'm into the DevOps/software industry as a developer for a long time. My passion is yoga, and I'm also a basketball fan. It's really not nice that we are not having any Atlanta Hawks game this time of this week. Really not cool. We need to schedule that ahead, like CNCF guys. So let's get into the things, and practically the story begins with a customer request of, your platform is super cool, I love it, it's open source, it's closed source, it's nice UI, whatever, but I feel I need it as an air-gapped solution and not a SaaS one. And sales are saying that before they are talking to me or anyone else from the engineering. And the engineering are frustrated because they never did it in the platform. They don't know what to do. Luckily, I must say, I had a very long background moving to on-premises environment and air-gapped. So I said, OK, well, that's a challenge. Let's take it in two hands. But we haven't done this before, and it was a pretty hard thing to do. So let's get into business with where was our starting point. In this case, we have EKS multi-tenant running on on Amazon Cloud. We have an OAuth service provider, again, another SaaS that we connected to. We had a Postgres RDS, Postgres managed service on AWS. And we have like a front-end UI with multi-external call to external assets online. We have container images that we pulled and pushed to external registry. Our pipe is fully CI/CD, completely. We didn't manage things by hand or something. And as Kubescape, our open source solution manages vulnerability DBs. And every day we have kind of a job that downloads those DBs online. And of course, we couldn't do that having an air-gapped solution. So small architecture at a glance about our whole product and our environment. So Kubescape sends the reports of vulnerabilities to our SaaS environment. Our SaaS environment has the Pulsar. Pulsar, if not everyone knows, it's like the twin sister or brother of Kafka, open source one. So we are using that in a matter of queuing. Then we're ingesting this data and storing it in the RDS. We have also MongoDB for metadata and some customer data. And we have some APIs that serves, we're getting those data from we have some kind of a DAO. We're serving this data from the DBs, through the API and getting it into the UI. And of course, when the user comes and entering the platform, he uses some authentication platform connected to the UI and also to our backend with JWT. It's really at a glance. And of course, we have some kind of a monitoring platform that I'll talk about in a minute. But it's really at a glance, and I'm trying to simplify the architecture because I want to drill down to the obstacle and the challenges we had, like moving this cluster with everything inside to being a fully air-gapped and not managed by any cloud. So yes, we had a bit of luck. Some people says that we had a really good architecture, but I can't say that for myself. All our monitoring capabilities and tools were open sourced and could be packed super, super easily because we used like Prometheus, Grafana, Loki, Tempo, and it wasn't any kind of a managed service. So it was really easy to pack that up and get it deployed. Pulsar, again, some kind of a standalone service, standalone component, not managed at all, which those two are a major part of our SaaS. And also our Mongo and Redis were standalone as well. So we shouldn't transfer those to some kind of air gap solution. We just needed to redeploy it in the in the new cluster that we're going to create. So this is a sentence I really like. We're as a very, very small startup. We are paying attention to cost, to cloud costs, and we know we can ditch. In one hand, cost makes you go faster. Other, you can't pay whatever you want. So sometimes cost constraints become architectural blessing, and it's exactly what happened here in this specific case. So just to be on the same line, what air gap really means. Actually, it's completely isolated from external internet. Basically, all the container images I can't pull from any public registries. All the Helm chart and the manifest, I can't do any automation or completely CI/CD around that. Authentication, monitoring. I told you that we used only the Grafana, Prometheus, et cetera, but there is some kind of a feature that we are using also CloudWatch. So in that specific feature, we couldn't use that as well. And also, all the storage and backups and things that the cloud is doing and managing for you, we couldn't do that like that, so we needed to do it ourselves. And one small thing is that we didn't have any visibility on the customer environment. He did it his own. He is not sharing his screen, nothing like that. He's just with us on a call, on a phone, or something like that. So we really don't know what he's doing on the next slide. So yeah, that was that was starting to get harder, and we got sweaty. But we did manage to do some kind of a plan in order to meet this whole process. And we wanted to succeed in this plan, and we had a timeline, but it wasn't that strict. So you want to have a full plan and very much organized. So first thing, we wanted to have a fully isolated test environment, to have nothing outside. We wanted to find identity provider that we can count on, and of course, it's also managed in an air gap solution. We needed to replace all our managed services. We need to have a new front end, a new UI without any connection to outer assets. We have to have a dedicated registry, internal, independent test, because we wanted to test it end to end and see that nothing fails. And we wanted to have kind of an umbrella Helm chart, so the customer can take this chart, double-click, one-click, and install the entire platform with that on his vanilla isolated cluster. So challenge number one, it was 3 years ago, so no AI. There was an AI probably, but not as we're using it today. So now probably it would take us half of the time. But that's just for small effort. So challenge number two is how do we live inside of an isolation environment? So frankly, we didn't have a full Terraform, and going and reverse engineering our current Terraform was a hustle, and we didn't want to get into it. the easiest way of doing that was just creating a new Terraform of the resources that we needed for this new cluster and all the resources combined, services, etc. And the principle of an isolated environment is we have, to understand what are the connections outside. We need to have like a private subnet, of course, and we need to restrict all the APIs across. So we needed to come up with a minimum inventory, okay, of this environment. Think of the SaaS environment that serves many customers and many tenants, okay? In this case, it's specifically for one customer that is only one tenant. So I couldn't, come up and say, okay, you need 50 nodes. Every node should have like 20 something giga RAM, and et cetera, because we need to have it small, tight, and suitable for just one customer. So we needed to come up with the right numbering and to tighten up this inventory. And of course, after that, we need to test this whole flow on like few times to see we didn't, break anything on an isolated environment. Challenge number 3 is we need to have some kind of a managed service detox, right? So RDS, we needed, to install a real Postgres SQL and not, using this RDS, which also combines some additional jobs that we needed to do. DB scheme, definitions, and job that will run on like periodic timing, backup, restores, things that the cloud is managing by himself. Also, upgrading. It's also a massive issue that we need to take a minute and double down on that. I'll do it in a minute. And we have some S3 buckets. We moved to local stack, secrets. So the customer needs to issue his own certificate, right, from his own certificate authority. And then we need to combine this, certificate into our own platform that he is installing. And that cycle creates hassle and issues that can raise. But again, we needed to manage it and not using our old self-sign and things like that. And we moved from Frontag, which is our authentication provider, the SaaS authentication provider, to a CNCF project called DEX, which gives us a full, like 110 authorization, authentication with user password, and even some roles. It really helps us, I'll talk about it in a minute, but it really helps us also along the way using this specific project, and we're very happy to have it as another open source solution that we're combining into our own solution. So challenge number 4, we had to have some application adjustments, right? We talked about all the infrastructure that we did, and now we need to also have some kind of applicative changes. The UI and the front end were, it was a big issue because we needed to pack all the assets related, the fonts, the images, everything that is related and we are approaching outside, we needed to pack it inside the images. And frankly, we needed to pack it and issue a new container image with that. Also, we changed the authentication with DEX via the UI and also with the backend. So again, another change that causes us creating a new front-end image. Also, the vulnerability DBs that I talked about like previously, it's a Kubescape material we needed to offline download. Frankly, we just created a new job that, that the customer should have run each day. And whitening it as a process and having the DBs inside his platform. And the tenant creation, he has just one tenant, so we just need a one-timer tenant creation, just a Python script we created that just creates a new tenant. And last but not least, right, the customer is not with us. And the customer is operating everything. We are with him online, by phone, but eventually it's someone, somewhere, not near me. I don't know how his environment looks, his architecture, which networking. It's not exposed to us, which makes things really, really, really difficult. But after a short, defined short, I couldn't define it, but with a lot of hard work, we really succeed of doing that with one customer that wanted it, and we had this POC with him. So after everything settled down, we realized that it's not just a one-time project. And we realized that this is a big deal for us, because we showed that our security platform is unique. And we saw there are requests for those kind of platform across everywhere. And no one really wants to manage air-gapped on-prem platform, and not us. So we turned it to something repeatable. And from one customer, we made it a tactic. And actually, we got some more and more customers along the way, and they submitted some new feature requests. And using DEX, the architecture we had with DEX, made us go to other provider that those customer uses like smoothly with a really fast implementation. And also we implement some managed groups with users, etc. It was, again, it's not a one-day work, but it was relatively simple job to do. So being, the only company that's doing this kind of work or this kind of an air-gap environment became a real product differentiator for us. And that was a major thing. And I think when we're talking strategy, we're always raising the on-premise air-gapped solution as one of the pillars that we want still to invest in. Okay, so, but it's not always, sunshine and rainbows, because it's still air-gapped. And we still need to provide quarterly upgrades. And we still need to be with this customer, or with all the customers. Think about a solution that you have one customer that needs to get an update on August, the other one on September, and the third one on October. I have no DevOps. He's always going to work with those customers. So to manage that takes time. And it's not just one process that you can manage easily. No, it takes time. And I must say, I didn't crack it. Still didn't crack it. We are doing some quarterly upgrades from time to time. But when we'll get to 1,000 customers using an air-gap, that is going to be a problem. And think about critical bugs, in large companies, governments, upgrading is not a simple thing. You need to get some kind of approvals. You need to get this one and that one for doing that, and it's not that fast. And also the infrastructure upgrade, okay? Because we are working on a SaaS environment, and not working on this on-premise, then we need to continuously upgrade the Mongo, Postgres, all the infrastructure stuff. Who says Bitnami? And all those issues that it's really hard. And of course, secret rotation. And I had a customer that said, "Hey, I need to switch secrets now," yesterday. And like, okay, good, let's do that. And then it became like a 1 week of checking with this department and that department, etc. And a lot of unknowns that are still getting on our way. So I think I made it on time. And we still might have some time for questions. So thank you very much for being here today. You can find me on LinkedIn and wherever you want, X and of course GitHub. And we're also at the booth of Kubescape and ARMO. So I'll be happy to see you all there. Thank you very much.